Our hearts beat to the city.
Hello everybody, this is Glenda again, and you know where I'm from, but I'll tell you anyway. Shaking Hands Art with Fralins and Friends. So, you know, if you watched last time, I was trying to show off that brush. You know just how much I shake. Depends on how tired I am. Some of my medicine does. I mean, it's a family trait, but I know some of my medicines because I do have some that have steroid in them. I mean, this is okay as a layer. Sometimes you have to layer things a bit, which is actually not a bad thing at all. I think that's a little too much brown. Let's go back in with some more dark green. I don't know how many of you remember, but I have sculpted a horse. He's out on, yeah, he's not in here right now. He's out on a shelf in the other room. Now that's really dark. Oh boy. This little palette has turned out to be really helpful. I was afraid, you know, that it wouldn't have enough things there. I think that's probably a little more correct. Let me check it. I'm doing it like this because it gives that, I'll have to see later if it's gonna work this way, but it kind of lets some of that other come through. Maybe it gives a little more of a we'll see how that is. It works out later, if it's realistic at all. I kind of like it to give the impression of standing grass instead of just a blur of. Okay. Yeah, I did that. I'm going to probably do it again. All right, I want to fix I must have dropped that one somewhere. Actually, what I need to do is use some blue. Get rid of his bump where he looks like the mumps. Some squareness here, then there's a bit of a square jaw there, and then it comes up, but not as much as I just did. So I'm going to have to let that dry and then fix it. I had a horse growing up. Actually, he was much lighter than this, but he had a beautiful almost blonde mane. I've never been much of one for squaring off the mane. You know, like it's standing up here, like a crew cut. I kind of always like to have my horse, oh, I got blue in there. I always like to just let it be natural. Of course, brush them, which helped. I put a couple of those flat limestone rocks in here. Of course, there's bigger rocks too. Or not, well, there's not so flat. There's rocks that aren't quite so flat. Like this. Some friends of my dad and his family, after he got out of school and stuff, they moved out. At some point, they moved out for a while they were in California, and then I think they were in the southern part of Washington County, Washington State. And she loved those rocks that we had in the pasture, especially the flat ones. But you couldn't carry a very heavy rock. Some of these were like deep, and some of them were. These are little. Generally, you'd see some kind of streaking in them. Sometimes it was flint. They used to find arrowheads all over the place out there. Okay. Joe just called me, so I guess I'm going to go have some supper. Then I'll come back and see if I can finish this thing. Now this stone here, piece of limestone, probably be just under, if you pulled some of that grass back, would probably be right in there. And that's kind of the way it was where I grew up. A fascinating place, and maybe one of these next times we'll give you some pictures of that. Or maybe if we get a chance, we'll just go down there. Now we can't get into, well, unless we get permission. I guess he's kind of a friend of the family. Maybe kind of get in to some of those places. But, oh, I started telling you the story about the family friend. They loved those stones. They absolutely did. Well, of course, you can't carry a huge stone like that because those things probably weighed 500 pounds. But my aunt would find smaller ones, just small, easy to lift, and easy to transport. And trying to think of her name. I don't think it was Doris, but it might have been. But this man, he was like a brother to my dad. My dad had 4 sisters. Or no, he had 3 sisters. He was one of 4 kids. But he had 3 sisters. And I don't think this was even necessary back here. Maybe if I decide to put something in there. But Jack, he lived with them. And he was like a brother to my dad. And he came back for a couple of family reunions. And of course he came back for the funerals, but there was an old barn. It's gone now. It burned down, unfortunately, that he had helped build. And when he came back and found out that barn had burned down, he teared up because that was part of his connection to the place where he did grow up. I want to give you a nice close-up. There it is. It's a paint. I don't know if it's a girl or a boy, but it's a paint. Anyway. Okay. This has been a little long, and I understand that. But I hope you like the outcome. I'm not upset with this. I'm really not. And I got to tell a couple stories. This is good night. I will talk to you tomorrow. Love you. Smile and wave. There's yours. You go share it. And we'll see you again tomorrow. Doing something else. Good night.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the candle